everyone. I spent my trimester working on child development. My essential question was, how do children's brains develop over the first few years of their life? There's 3 different theories that are out there on child development, but I spent my trimester studying Jean Piaget's theory. And his theory was his particular insight in the role of maturation, simply growing up in children's increasing capacity to understand their world. They cannot undertake certain tasks until they are psychologically mature enough to do so. And within his theory, there were 4 different stages. The first being the sensory motor stage. This was children from when they were born to the age of 2. Children will differentiate themselves from different objects. They will recognize their self as an agent of action, and they will begin to act intentionally, such as shaking a rattle to make noise. The second stage is the pre-operational stage, and this is where I focus my different experiments. This is children between the ages of 2 and 7. They learn to use language and represent objects with images and words. Their thinking is still egocentric, meaning they have difficulty taking the viewpoint of others, and they will classify objects by a single feature, such as grouping all of the blue blocks together. And the third stage is the concrete operational stage. This is children of the ages of 7 through 11. They will gain ability to think logically about objects and events, achieve conservation of number at age 6, mass at age 7, and weight at age 9. They classify objects according to several features and order them in a series along a single dimension, such as size. And the last stage is the formal operational stage, which is from 11 years old and on. Children can think logically about abstract propositions and test hypotheses systematically, and they become concerned with the hypothetical, the future, and ideological problems. So like I said before, I worked with kids between the ages of 2 and 5. The first experiment I did was the juice experiment. So basically I had 2 cups of juice the same size with the same amount of juice in each cup, and I would ask the children which cup they thought had the more juice in it, or if they thought they were the same. And during this time, most children thought there was the same in each glass. And then as they were watching me, I would pour 1 cup into a smaller, thinner cup, and I would ask them which cup they thought had more, or if there was still the same. And the majority of the kids thought there was more juice in the thinner, skinnier cup because it was more full. They thought one glass was completely full or one was half empty, and the juice level ended up higher. And then some of them said that there was the same amount, but they weren't able to tell me why, so I figured it was just a guess. And then another experiment I did was the triangle experiment. I would ask the children which shape up there they thought didn't belong and why. The results for the girls and the boys were basically the same. A lot of them thought it was either the top right because of the shape or the bottom right because of the color. So their justifications were based on shape and color, which was expected during the pre-operational stage. According to Piaget, the child creates his own intelligence at each level by puzzling out inconsistencies between his bits of knowledge or schemas and the reality of his experiences. And then just to cover on the 2 other experiments I did, one was with coins. I had 2 rows of coins the same distance apart. I asked them if they thought there was more coins in one row or if they thought there was the same. Majority thought there was the same. And then I would move 1 row further apart and I'd ask the same questions. And the majority of the kids thought there was more coins in the row that was spaced further apart just because it was longer. And then the last experiment I did, I had 3 pictures of leaves and one of boat oars, to go rowing the oars. And I asked them which one they thought was different and why. So, thank you.
Were these experiments that you designed yourself, or were you replicating experiments that were published in literature?
The coin one and the juice one I found online, so my results validated the results that I found online. And then the second 2, I discussed with my class original experiments that I could do on my own, and we found that triangle thing online on a website. And then the leaf one, Mr. Policia, Sheng Fu, and I all came on, like, figured out ourselves.
Did you read anything about boys and girls at that age that led you to look at the groups separately?
Yeah, usually I found like one thing I did with the coins. I had two, like a set of twins. One was a girl and one was a boy. And they usually say that like the girls' minds develop quicker. And with my like coin experiment, the girl thought, like they both thought there was the same in the, like for the first round. And then the second round, the girl realized that there was the same amount of coins in each row, but the boy didn't. So that kind of just like proved to me that like, I know it was just one set of twins, but it just kind of goes to show that those theories are true. Yeah.
Did you find any other differences, like any outliers that surprised you in your experimenting?
I think if I had more kids than just in the children's center, because some of them were only there on certain days, or they're like, I don't know, a lot of the 2-year-olds didn't really understand. So if I had more like 4 and 5-year-olds, I think I could have figured out more different like trends and stuff. Mr.
What would your next steps be if you had to continue this investigation?
I think it would be to continue testing kids from like other schools and stuff, just to figure out trends within the data.